How's it going, everybody? This is Brody Frye, and today is going to be a very special episode with a very dear friend of mine. We're going to get into some crazy, wild topics, so hang on tight and stay tuned. Hey, everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. All right, guys, welcome back. So this is going to be a very special episode. Pretty cool. Today, I got Jeremy Lesser on the podcast. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. All right. Well, this is going to be pretty interesting. Cool things we're going to be talking about. So, to start off, we have known each other for a very long time. I mean, like 3 years old, I think.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, probably 2 or 3, probably.
Yeah, like just racing motorcycles, actually. I started riding when I was 3, and I think you were...
Yeah, I started around 3 or 4, too. So.
Yeah, on little PW50s, and...
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm, and we had a track we used to ride on, and it was like every day we were hanging out, and literally just best friends ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So
pretty much our whole lives were revolved around riding at your place.
And, climbing trees, building boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely best friends for a long time. And after kind of got out of racing, a few things happened. Kind of got out of that and started working on the family farm. And so we not only grew up together, best friends, and then worked together.
Yep.
Then we were probably like 13 or 14 when we stopped racing, and then working on the farm together. So yeah, became coworkers then, and on and off coworkers all the way
all the years,
to present day. We are still coworkers, so still best of friends as ever. So it's a cool friendship to see. You don't really see too many friendships like this that are from 3 years old till now. It's pretty crazy. So you miss racing?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like even nowadays, I still want to get back into it, but it's just expensive buying a bike and all the gear again.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an expensive sport, but I miss it too. What other sports did you play? You did?
I did baseball in high school for a year, and then I kind of was gonna do football in high school. Kind of fell out of that. Just didn't like the coaches and everything, so kind of just backed out of it and. Did summer baseball too, but other than that, it was really just racing dirt bikes when we were younger, and then me and you both started doing pit bike races at the county fairs.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Did all that together, so...
Yeah, pit bikes were... I had almost more fun on the pit bikes because it was like a bunch of adults, and we're just like messing around, and it was like more playful out there because we all just kind of like... We're just out there having fun more than anything, so... I had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, those were some really good memories, especially racing against you again finally after what was it, like 7 or 8 years probably stopping riding and then finally jumping into it again. Taking
such a long break for sure. And then, it was just cool to be back. Some of our memories of racing, we were so young, so it's kind of like foggy. And then to be able to line up with you again, it was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Freaking pit bikes rock.
Yeah, because we used to ride at your house all the time, literally after school. I'd stay there on the weekends. Basically our whole childhood was revolved around racing each other, practicing against each other, basically building, what is it? When you verse each other in a friendly competition, but at the same time you're taking it super serious, so you're kind of building each other's skills unknowingly. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you're battling each other, but in a friendly manner, and you're just helping grow with each other. So it's it's honing each other's skills, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was definitely fun.
Yeah, and that kind of manifested into even working with each other, on the farm and stuff, catching mink. We'd do challenges of who could catch mink that got out. And, did that and definitely honed skills in working with each other and being able to still stay friends through working with each other. Even if we were mad at each other at work, we learned to be like, okay, work, we were upset with each other, and like we'll keep our per se differences of the day at work, but after work ends, it's like we're just two best friends trying to just hang out.
Yeah, we're definitely really good with keeping the work and friendship separate. So that's definitely a unique case to be able to, I mean,
to understand it.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of take things so personally, but it's cool to see a friendship like this where, you know, we were so good at like separating things. We'd have differences at work or disagreements or whatever, say stupid things, and then, you know, right after work we clock out and best friends again. All right, what do you want to do now?
Yeah, let's go do something.
Yeah,
let's go build the campfires in the woods or something like that when we were younger.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It was cool growing up on the farm. We were definitely really lucky to have that kind of property and that kind of freedom to kind of do what we wanted, and that's ties into the title of this podcast and like just the whole outdoor aspect. Love the outdoors, and just like, motorcycles being expensive. After that, we kind of started to pick up the mountain biking thing. A lot cheaper, but still it kind of like feeds that craving for riding something.
Yeah,
so
and being able to be outdoors, go out through some trails in the woods and like kind of get that nature feel.
Yeah, and then at least throw on a helmet and be able to grab some bars and ride.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's cool. And then back to the baseball thing. You were the pitcher, right?
Yeah, I was one of the pitchers on the team.
Okay, yeah,
it wasn't the
awesome.
best, but it was still fun to do for
You've
sure.
always had a wild arm on you. You can throw like crazy. I mean, the distances, the speeds, like it's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely got lucky with being able to pitch pretty well in high school.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I've seen like on some of the arcade games that like we'd go to Dave and Buster's, and just like the speeds this kid can throw is amazing.
Yeah. I definitely threw my arms out a few times doing that just from not throwing for so long. But
yeah, snowballs too. Even back in the farm days, like it was crazy. He can reach some crazy distances.
Yep.
So, so actually, alongside the kind of like growing up topic, earlier today, we were actually discussing some interesting stories with our manager, and kind of like inspired some topics thatD like to dive into today.
Right, yeah, definitely.
So we were discussing at work actually about some hauntings, some ghost stories. Yeah, and they were asking about like, oh, have I had any experiences? And yeah, there's a few of them that me and Jeremy actually share, and I know Jeremy, you got some crazy experiences with your childhood home, and then I got an interesting childhood home kind of story as well. So we'll dive into that a little bit. So you want to tell me kind of about your house and some of the things you've seen there?
Yeah. So growing up, me and my family just lived in a 5-bedroom home. And so when I was younger, probably 5, 6, 7, whenever I'd get scared sometimes, I'd go sleep in my parents' room. And in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and there'd be just this little boy at the foot of my parents' bed or in their closets, because their closet was at the foot of the bed. So he'd just stand there, and I'd perfect fireman engine suit. Like, it was super weird. I just thought it was normal because you're a kid at the time. You don't really know much about ghosts and everything. So he'd stand at the foot of the bed. He may come to my mom's side of the bed, which was on the right side, and my dad's side every so often on the left. So I'd see him a lot. And then in my basement, my sisters never liked to go down there because they always felt super weird down there. Yeah. And so I eventually, my sister Sam and Courtney all shared a room growing up. Yep. And then once I got older, my room got moved down into the basement. Mm-hmm. And so I slept in the basement, and I'd always feel like a presence down there. And then eventually I started to see this guy in a top in a top hat.
Yeah.
And he would be in the corner of my room while I'm sleeping there, just standing there.
Yeah,
and like it was pretty creepy when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And then over time, I eventually got used to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would see him in our laundry room, just standing there, and just kind of just get used to it.
Yeah.
To where it was like, okay, you're normal. Like all of a sudden, I came out of a room and like he was just standing there, and I'm like, okay, I can't pay attention to him. You're there, you're fine. I'm not gonna look at you, not look up.
Yeah.
And just keep walking.
Just don't disturb him.
Yep. Just you're there. I'm gonna leave you alone. Like it, just super weird. And
yeah. So he was just kind of like a presence, like
just a presence.
Now you could. It wasn't something that you would just feel, right? You could actually see it.
I could see him sometimes, but most of the time I would feel him. Like there's times where it's like, okay, this feeling I have, I know he's around, watching. Like I don't see him right now, but I got used to the presence.
Yeah.
So over time, I would for years you'd just be standing in my room.
Yep.
I'd get used to it, just go to sleep.
Yeah.
And one story which I found out later on was one of my mom's friends was babysitting us once. Mm-hmm. My sister Kaylee in Brooklyn had their room right above mine. So they were jumping on the bed, Kaylee and Brooklyn, in their room. My mom's friend was going to the bathroom downstairs because our upstairs was being remodeled.
Yep.
So she goes down there, and from the stairs, when you turn the corner, you can see straight into where my room was, like at a 45, and the bathroom was right next to my room. So she's looking in the room, and she just sees this guy in the top hat. I called him Top Hat Man. So he was just sitting there swatting at the ceiling, and like she saw that, absolutely freaked out, and just booked it upstairs. And she did not go back downstairs for the rest of the time. Like,
wow.
She was freaked out by it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that story till later on.
You were already like, that was your bedroom
that
down
was
there
my
at
bedroom
that time?
at that time.
Wow.
So.
And you didn't know that story until?
I didn't know that story until probably high school. So maybe 2015 or 16.
Okay. So
I want to say.
So like multiple years,
like after we had moved out of the house, and multiple years after the whole occurrences stopped.
Okay.
So, during this time, the last time I ever actually experienced him, I was laying in my room and I was going to bed. All of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, he's in the corner of my room, and I'm like, okay, he's there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden next thing I know, I'm being pinned down by him.
Oh, wow.
Just like held down.
You can feel that.
And like you could see, like I saw he was right there in my face.
Did it feel like actual hands, or did it feel like a force, like a rounded kind of force?
It felt like a single force, like onto my chest, holding me down. Like I could not move. I couldn't do anything. Like I tried, like mentally trying to move my body to get up, get off.
On your chest, or what? You were on your back?
So I was on my back.
Okay.
And it was like just this pressure that like being held down, like being held down by like someone 10 times your size.
Yeah.
So like I could not physically move, couldn't like get it off me. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I'm just laying there like freaking out. And then next thing I know, it's just gone. Like the presence was absolutely gone.
So like just like 5 seconds or so of just pressure on your chest.
It was probably that long. Like, but
tough to tell in
the
like
situation.
Like that.
Yeah. So it was
scary.
like, because it was just a super serious moment.
Traumatizing.
And it wasn't that I felt like I was being attacked, which like, I mean, it's probably like a paranormal attack type thing.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just like, I'm being held down by him. This has never happened before.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's the first time you like felt contact from him? That the last time
that was the last time I felt it. So like, and that was the last time I had felt his presence in the house, technically. Yeah. So
that was so you'd never known about him any time in the past. That was the first experience you had of him? No,
that was like, I knew about him. Like I knew that he was always there.
Okay. You've seen him before?
I've seen him before then, and I just got so used to him being
okay.
there.
So this was a while in.
Okay. So like I got so used to him being there that it was just like, all right, I'm going to sleep. He's in the corner. Cool.
Yeah.
Type ordeal.
Okay.
And then that was the first experience of me ever being like, per se, like not attacked, but like physically touched by a spiritual energy.
Yeah. Wow. And in the moment, you felt pretty calm because he was such a common experience, or
I felt calm, but also at the same time like panicked because that had never happened before.
Right. Now, how old were you at that time, would you say?
Maybe 8, 9, maybe.
Dang.
So still pretty young.
Do you remember what your first experience of him was and how you reacted?
I would say my first experience of him, like I would always, like I understood that there was a pressure, like a spiritual pressure down in my in the basement. So I kind of understood that. But then when I first saw him is when he would stand in the corner of my room.
Yeah.
So I think that room was really its domain mainly.
Right.
So like I'd see him throughout the basement, in the laundry room, weight room, all that. Huh. But I think that's where he kind of like kept himself.
Yeah.
So with me going into there, I think I kind of interrupted it per se.
Gotcha.
But nothing had ever occurred until that final moment.
Okay. And you never heard him? You never heard voices or anything? You never heard him say anything?
No, I never heard any words or anything. My sister Sam has said that she's heard footsteps upstairs.
Okay.
Like coming up the stairs and then around into our hallway.
Gotcha.
Because she slept along the hallway. So she freaked out one night saying like she hears footsteps and stuff. And then my dad woke up and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So Sam has like, I think, heard him. Like I want to say that was him walking
right.
like up from the basement to the hallway.
But no voices that you remember?
No voices that I remember. just like being able to tell his presence and see him like standing in a corner.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing is that like, so I was the only one other than my mom's friend that had seen the top hat guy. So we knew that 2 of us knew that presence was there. My sisters hated the basement because they always felt something was down there, but couldn't pinpoint it. So over the years when my dad was finally moving out, like freshman year of high school, me and my sisters were all sitting down just talking about the house and stuff. And we all somehow come up to the topic of seeing the kid in the fire engine suit, like just a little not leather, like a latex yellow jacket and a fire engine hat, the little red toy one. Mm-hmm. So we all talked about that and they're like, wait a minute, you all saw that? And we're all like freaking out because we all had that experience of the little boy in my parents' bedroom. Wow. And that's when I found out that my mom's friend had seen the top hat guy in the basement.
Oh, wow. So
me and her were the only 2 that saw him.
Okay, so you and your mom's friend were the only people that saw the top hat guy?
The top hat guy.
Okay.
So,
and this was a tall guy, right? Like.
Oh, yeah. He was easily, like, I would probably say over 6'5". Like,
oh, wow. So, and did you ever see... So he had the top hat. Was he wearing... Could you see his face?
I could never see his face.
Was it, like, blurry?
Like, it was just blurry, and, like, he was just in, like, a big, like... trench coat? Probably, like a black trench coat. Yeah. So that's how I always saw him.
Yep.
And then... after we all figured this out, my dad goes to our neighbor. He was like 80 at the time. And my dad goes like, you've lived here the longest, like in our whole neighborhood.
Yep.
So my dad asked, has there been any like weird incidences that has happened on our house or at our house? And he goes, there was one incident where there was a little boy that used to live at our house who had like, he was autistic. Mm-hmm. And he managed to somehow get into the garage and play with, like, I want to say it was gasoline and a lighter, and he lit himself on fire and died.
Wow.
So I've tried to look up, like, history on the house and, like, be like, where's the evidence of it?
Yeah.
But I haven't found anything yet. And, but that's what we want to say is the little boy.
Yeah.
Since he died lighting himself on fire.
Wow.
Or somehow in our garage like that.
That's terrible.
He was manifested spiritually as a little kid in a fire engine suit.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, that all made sense to us. Yeah. And then we found out that a guy across the street had committed suicide a long time ago.
Okay.
And so that's where I think the guy in the top hat somehow, for some reason, spiritually moved over to our house.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because there was just a bunch of kids around and like energy from us, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
Who knows? But basically,
because how many were there growing up in your house?
There's 5 kids and then my mom and dad, so 7 of us.
Yeah.
So I grew up with 4 sisters and me.
Yeah.
But then we found out that the house behind us used to be like what are they, speakeasies?
Yeah, like during the Prohibition. Yep.
Yeah. So we found out that it was like a brothel speakeasy type thing in their basement.
Yeah.
And then we found out the whole street next to us was like haunted. Like there's all the houses there were pretty haunted. And then a business has a demonic portal in it.
I was going to ask you next.
Yeah. So
where is that at?
So it's down off the main road from our house.
Okay.
So it's off a main road there, and it's I want to say it's a chiropractor now, but a lot of people have had like demonic encounters, scratches, pushing, shoving, all that. So, and people have said like it's pretty haunted, and there's a portal in one of those rooms.
Yeah. Wow.
So
definitely interesting.
Yeah, definitely a lot of experience.
So yeah, we kind of got that origin story of the little boy with the fire engine suit. And do you have any more like information on the origin of the top hat guy, or is it
so
just...
all we were really told was that there was a guy who lived next door. I want to say he was like mid-30s maybe.
Okay.
And he had just committed suicide in his house, and that's the only logical thing that we could think of that or major event that would cause his spirit to stay behind.
Yeah. Now the fire engine boy, you only had one experience of that? You only seen him once?
No, I had multiple encounters with him. So like most of the time whenever I'd sleep in my parents' room, I'd see him. So it was like probably 4 out of 5 times I'd sleep in my parents' room as a kid. You'd see him.
Was he as active as the top hat guy, or did
he was really just stayed in my parents' room. I never saw him anywhere else. Never felt him anywhere else. Like he'd just manifest at night, and you could see you'd see his face perfectly. Like you could see him 100%. You could tell, you could see through him into the closet, but you knew that there was a spirit of a little boy there.
Wow. And you never connected these dots until afterwards.
Yeah.
You guys knew what you experienced. Obviously, you experienced your stuff, your sisters and your parents experienced theirs. And you never discussed this until after.
We never discussed, like me and my sisters never knew any of us saw the little boy.
Wow.
And surprisingly, my mom or dad never knew about this.
Wow.
So they didn't know about the little boy in their room.
So they never saw it.
They never saw it from what my dad said and mom said. Yeah. So it was just us kids. And I'm pretty sure as kids, like general kids have a stronger connection with a spiritual like energy because their mind isn't fully set in its way yet. Yeah. So they're kind of still open-minded to seeing things. Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's more, you're closer to, whatever happens before you're born, really. Like you're more like in tune with that spiritual kind of dimension when you're younger. And I feel like that might be a part of the reason why you don't really remember as much, because like as your brain matures and as you grow up, it's like you kind of like grow into this world we're living in and grow out of that kind of spiritual in tuneness.
Yeah, definitely, because like there's so many things nowadays where it's like you have your phone, you have your TV, you have all these other experiences that you're putting all your attention to instead of like and like where you like go out to like places where people are more out in nature, like they're more in tune with their body, with like everything surrounding them. Like they're able to tune into different frequencies that people in a city can't. Type ordeal.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely crazy. Yeah, we've definitely talked about some of the like how like the herbal remedies and stuff, like how people that are still like living out in nature, disconnected from like the internet and stuff, are so much more in tune with, like self-healing and stuff like that. It's crazy. I think we've definitely lost touch with Mother Earth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's crazy that you guys experienced all of that and didn't really put it together until after you guys left.
Yeah.
Any of your other houses, did you have any experiences, any problems with any other houses?
I think I have, but going to now, what's I've probably lost most of those. Like, I feel like I've had experiences where at our Berkshire house, I had a feeling of the same presence of like where I felt like that top hat guy was there.
Yeah.
Like I felt that for a little bit, but then it vanished. So I don't know if that was like an actual thing or just my mind creating it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But I had never had any more experiences since then, like at any houses I've had.
Yeah.
I know one time I had at an ex's house, I had gone into their house and all of a sudden I asked if they were there and all of a sudden I look up to the right and I could see up their top hallway up the stairs and I just see like a little kid's feet like running across the stairs.
Wow.
So, and I had asked her, I'm like, is anyone else here? And she's like, no, it's just me. And I'm like, so no one's upstairs? And she's like, no, that's just that I've had like a spirit like around me. That was normal to her. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I felt normal with the top hat guy. So I'm like, okay, it must be a normal thing like for her. But it was pretty weird, like physically seeing a little boy running, like his legs running across the upstairs. Yeah. And it really caught me off guard because I hadn't experienced that for a few years.
Right. Yeah. Because now how old are you then? You're in high school,
I'm in high school at that time,
That's like...
That's a couple years from when I had last experienced like a spiritual type thing.
Yeah, because now it's not like, oh, I was just a kid, imagination kind of thing. So that's kind of more of like a, oh, damn. Like,
that's actually
saw that.
Still happening.
Yeah. So crazy. Well, on the topic of actually seeing things, I think now would be a good time to kind of get into some of the stuff that we have shared experiences on. So back on the farm, like when we were growing up, we're just like forest boys. We grew up and we were always like building forts and stuff, starting fires and it was just carving sticks and making like string bow and arrows and stuff like that.
Connecting ourselves with nature.
Right. Yeah. It was a great way to grow up. We were definitely blessed. But so on the farm, our house is like right off the street where I grew up. And then there's a couple barns deeper into the property. This is about a 56 acre farm. And the barns were a little bit deeper into the property, but it was like between the barns and between the house, it was all just like it was gravel for a while and then they ended up getting it paved. So that was a lot of fun on like the scooters and stuff, the ripsticks.
Oh yeah.
Riding
that was a blast.
So then behind the farm or the barn, we had the yard and then we had kind of a big field and then in the back, there was a big hill, just like a random big hill, all overgrown with trees too. So it was good for like just like forest play. And so we would, and over the crest of the hill, running like parallel with the barns and the house. It was like if you're at the house and you're looking at like, so you could kind of see the top of the hill over the roof of the barn. And if you're looking there, the trail would run like left to right over the crest of the hill there. Mm-hmm. So, and then around onto the back side of that hill, it was all forest. Then our property line would end there, and then it's cornfields there. But like we had like big power lines and like a ComEd substation back there. So, it was all like power lines and the property would stop right at the bottom of the hill. So it was late at night. We were out in the woods playing around. And yeah, probably 11 o'clock. It was like well into darkness. Sure. And we're walking on that trail right about the top of the hill. And all of a sudden we kind of veer off to the far side of the hill there and go down that a little ways, and we start setting up a little fort, just leaning up sticks, making like a little teepee fort, and we just make a little rock circle, and start a fire like we've done for a million times.
All the time. We'd make fires 24/7.
Yeah, and we had our little pocket knives, and we'd carve sticks into little like knives and little arrows and spears and stuff. So we were sitting there, and we would just like char the end of sticks and just like sharpen them and just like talk about life even back then.
We've always talked about like, what are we gonna do when we're older? Like everything.
Just pondering life as kids and around a campfire, just such primal instincts, I guess.
Yeah.
So something just connects you with a fire, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there around a fire, just the two of us in the darkness, and obviously we don't have flashlights on us. We don't have phones with us or anything. We were probably like 13 years old.
Probably.
And then that trail over the crest of the hill, you could it wasn't that far off. Like you could, like in the daylight during the day, you could see that the trail was there from where we were, but it was kind of like a good few, probably like 10 paces away. And, basically like just outside of the glow of the fire. So it was a small itty bitty fire. Just barely any light. I mean, we're just sitting there in the darkness with a little fire. And I remember looking back slightly, and next thing you know, I just see like this whitish gray figure just float down that path. It was like not walking. You didn't hear it. No like crunching leaves or anything, and no like hopping of walking, like no movement like that. It was just like hovering or floating,
like
just
dead silent,
super steadily over this trail. And I just see that, and it just like kind of floats past, and then I look over at you, and I'm just like, and I see him looking right back at me, and I'm like, holy shit, did you see that?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I saw that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we both saw that. That was the thing, is like, yeah, it's one thing if like I was tired and I like my mind's playing tricks on me or whatever in the darkness, and it's just outside of that little like glow. But like the fact that I see Jeremy looking at me like, you saw that too?
Yeah, like, dude, what the hell was that? What
that
the
is,
fuck?
yeah. And not only that, but that thing, whatever it was between us in the house.
Yeah.
And we were young, and I'm like, get your spear ready.
Yeah, literally, we're like both terrified, like shaking, because like, I mean, just you're out at such late at night and just see a figure just floating across the trail.
Yeah.
The way you're supposed to go back.
Yeah,
like,
right.
What the hell are we supposed to do right now?
Yeah, exactly. That was definitely one of the most fearful times I've ever experienced, because like now we gotta like put the fire out first of all, so now it's black.
Yeah.
And
I don't even think we had flashlights at the time.
And I'm pretty sure we went out there while it was still slightly light out, so it wasn't scary. But then we put this fire out, and it's dark after we just see something like that. Ugh.
Yeah.
Like that was
that was pretty scary.
Yeah, that was a tough one to do. But
yeah.
And then like a few years later, and I forgot I told you this story, but another friend of mine, he was over, and we were in the driveway, and there's another hill on the property closer to the house, and I saw, it was like it was getting dark, but it was still light out, and very similar thing. But yeah, it was like while the sun was still out, just I see that figure behind him though, like, and it was like he wasn't even on the hill. I just kind of like saw it in the background, like that figure just kind of hover over the crest of this hill and into the trees, and I'm like,
and this is right by your house.
Yeah, this was like a hill that's like right next to my house. It was weird. I was like, what is that? That has to have been the same thing. Like, but I mean, nobody else saw it that time. And my friend that was there was facing me, so he didn't see it. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting time. That was freaky. And I haven't had quite as many experiences as some have. I'm not sure. I haven't really dug into the history of that, or if anything really like in particular happened on the farm. But yeah, that's I don't even know what it was. I couldn't really tell. But did you notice any? Or it was just kind of like a.
I mean, when we had experienced ours on the on the backside of the hill. It was just like, to me, it looked like it could be like a lady in a like night dress.
Yeah.
Like a long white night dress.
Yeah, like a night. Yeah.
And like when you explained to me that story of you and your other friend by your house, I'm like, dude, that has to be the same thing we saw.
Yeah.
Like it's the only thing we've seen on the property.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just like, that's crazy that you've seen it again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was definitely super creepy. So, yeah. And then the only other really experience that I personally have had with like kind of ghost stories, like personally, I've heard a lot of stories, but in the house specifically, I remember times where like I grew up with a lot of pets, like loving animals, reptiles, amphibians. We had a lot of frogs and geckos and bearded dragons and ferrets and all sorts of stuff. And I was playing with one of the frogs, and so I had it out of the cage, and I was playing with that on the staircase. Actually, I was sitting on the stairs, like towards the bottom of the staircase, and like had him on one of the steps, and I just like saw like rapid flashing, like somebody took a photo of me with a camera with a bright flash on. And so I turn around thinking somebody's just taking a photo of me, maybe my parents or something, and nothing's there. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, that was weird. So then I turn back, and like right after I turned back, it happened again. And just like rapid flashing, but only when I was like looking at the frog and like looking at the staircase. Like I saw like the stairs like lit up. So it wasn't like in my vision, but like the stairs like lit up, like flash. It was like a 2 or 3 pulse flash, just like a camera. And I turned around again, and that time I like got up and like looked around. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it was 3 separate times, because then I looked around good that time, and then I sat back down, and then again, 3rd time, and then I looked around again and nothing, and it never happened again. But yeah, that was definitely another goofy thing that happened in the house. And I think that was the only other specific time that I can remember having an experience like that. Now our house was like super. I didn't realize how old it was, but you actually Googled
we looked it up today.
Yeah. What was it again?
It was we were talking about it at work, and I looked it up, and it was built in 1885.
Yeah, 85. Yeah.
So we didn't think it would be that old.
Yeah,
like,
that was
crazy.
I knew it was an old house, but I didn't think it was that old. I knew like the basement, so we got a basement, and
which is creepy.
Yeah, super creepy. Yeah, it was actually like back then, obviously it was like built with the rocks that were laying in the dirt. When you like dig the foundation, like the walls of this it was obviously unfinished, but it was like raw stone walls. But like even scarier than that, all the stones were painted black. Yeah. All the walls were painted black. There wasn't a missing spot. Like it was all just
pitch
black paint all over these old rocks, like raw rocks. And on top of that, there was like neon green and red words like everywhere, like all sorts of words. Like I didn't even know what most of them meant growing up, and it was like so normal to me just because that was our basement. So like I didn't even pay attention really to it. But
to me, when I'd go down there, it was like just super creepy.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go. And
It's like, a creepy basement. No. Yeah. Cause there's just words everywhere, just like in like random pictures. And I didn't even remember like some of the phrases that it said. Like, like one of the main ones, one of the bigger ones, when you first walked in, it said, "Welcome to Bob's Inn." And that was, like, I don't know. Actually, we talked about this earlier today too, and my manager actually had a great point I never thought of, but he was like, did you ever think that could have been a speakeasy too during the Prohibition? Like, and I was like, that could have been. I have no idea. Like, definitely a great idea, because I never thought about that. But yeah, it was goofy. Like there was some weird. I gotta hop back on the podcast and like um, tell everybody what some of these phrases were once I go back because yeah, it was definitely a crazy basement, freaky basement. But I never. It was normal to me growing up, but like now growing up, have my own place. It's like thinking back, I'm like, ooh, like even like house shopping, I'm like, if I saw that basement, I'd be like, oh, hell no.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
But back to you were talking about today how like that one door in that basement. Like,
yeah. So there was a door that was like always shut, and we had it like blocked because our basement we never used it other than storage. So we just had like during the summer all of our winter stuff down there kind of thing. Like it was just for storage, like our holiday decorations and just like storage stuff. And that door was always blocked in. And yeah, just like we were kind of like just growing up teenagers and we're getting curious and we're like, what is that door? Like I've never seen that door open. And so we just got curious. And if I remember right, it was locked actually. And I think we had to, I don't remember how we got it open, but
I think we like, I don't remember. I thought we like did something.
Yeah.
Like to pry it open.
Yeah.
Or, I don't remember.
I feel like it was locked. I can't remember, but we got it open. We had to clear out the door first just to get to it. And then we got it open and all it was just, so like the full basement was like the stones, the raw stones. And then like, a really shittily poured concrete floor that was like the most uneven floor you'd ever see.
Yep.
And
it's like walking on miniature hills.
Yeah, literally. And then you open up this door and it's a dirt floor. And
not dirt, it was sand.
Or
it was sand
sand
we
floor.
went digging through it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with plywood down. And inside this, it probably went back like 12, 14 feet
probably
or so.
Yeah.
And shelves on both sides. It was just like a rectangle with shelves on both sides. And it was pretty wide and tall. Like it was a tall room.
And I think there was a few like empty jars.
Yeah, there was like
I know there was some on the right. I don't know about the left.
Yeah, there was glass jars and stuff up there, and then the plywood floor. And actually, then I had a couple metal detectors, and I was like, oh, dude, like this would be great to metal detect. There's gotta be some crazy stuff in here. So we got the metal detectors down there just to be extremely let down because we never found anything.
Yeah,
but I was like, oh, think about it. Like I was so excited. I'm like, as soon as I saw the dirt floor, I'm like, oh, dude, there's got to be gold coins or something.
Oh yeah, like our imagination was just going
wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, but no, never found anything. But yeah, that's all that was in there. So I really don't know what that could have been, or what. Maybe it was like some sort of a speakeasy back in the day, because there is like the back porch has. So the basement is inside, like the access is inside the house, but it's like we have an outside door that leads straight into the basement. So it could have been just kind of like a, this is the door to the speakeasy kind of thing.
Like a quick little hidden thing.
Yeah, you just walk straight in and
Well, and then there's kind of a little bit of history on your farm. There was history with Al Capone allegedly being there and stuff, right?
Yeah. I
kind of tied in with the original owner of the property.
Yeah, so from what I know, it's vague, kind of like passed down stories, but we have the name of our street is named off of the previous owner of the property, and he was allegedly friends or acquaintances or somehow knew Al Capone, and Al Capone supposedly would visit and kind of hide out if he was under a lot of heat, and hide out on our property too. So I don't know many details on that specifically, but that is a story that's kind of been passed down from my grandpa to my dad to me, and it's just kind of cool to hear, like, oh wow, like I grew up on property that Al Capone used to hang out on. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, which would kind of, now thinking of your original basement was
Yeah.
a speakeasy.
Yeah.
That would kind of tie into that backstory of all the history that you've been told about him coming there.
Yeah, that's wild.
So
Kind of
now, like just today, just putting all this stuff together.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love to definitely do more research on that and kind of ask around the family, see if they know more about that, and bring some more information for you guys. But also one thing too that I wanted to bring up. So I was talking to a buddy of mine that I haven't talked to in a long time last night as of this recording. And a buddy of mine, Mason, I know he's listening to this. Love you, buddy. So he had a great idea. Because I was just talking to him about where I wanted to go with this podcast, and I kind of want to get more into this kind of like, like these stories and like real experiences and theories, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Like, but also sprinkle in some of that like self-help stuff, because I still love that kind of stuff. But he said, why don't you do something like this? And his idea was, have you ever heard of like time overlaps? Like points in time that like don't line up, where like things that happened at the same time that don't seem like they should have happened at the same time.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you've heard anything like this, or
I've probably heard it in the past, but like never, can't pull it out at the top of my
head. Yeah. So some of the examples he said, and then after he told me, I searched some, but there's some crazy ones. So he gave me 2 examples, and these are from him. He found them. But one that was, I think the first one he told me was that, and this might be like in our minds, where in school we learn about them as separate like topics or separate things. So in our minds, we kind of think this had to have been separate times.
Mm-hmm.
But so he told me that, and I did look it up and verify it. Martin Luther King Jr. was born. I gotta look it up again, but he was born. 1929, January 15th, 1929, and he shares a birthday with Anne Frank. Anne Frank was born in 1929 also. Like, wild. Like, I don't know why. I feel like Anne Frank was so much longer ago. I don't know if that's just me or what, but yeah, I was like, that's crazy. Just like things happening in different parts of the world that I guess just seems like
it wouldn't line up with each other, or like at the same time.
Yeah, so that was the one example, and the other one was even more amazing. But he said that while there was still woolly mammoths walking this earth when the Great Pyramids were being built. That one also was like, that's freaking weird. Like, you'd think like woolly mammoths, that's like caveman days. Like, I don't know, this could be reversed for somebody else, but for me, it was like, how were we building structures like while there was still woolly mammoths? Like, I thought that was like caveman only fire kind of things. Like,
fire finally found stick.
Yeah, literally, like, it was freaking crazy.
Crash rock into circle.
Yeah. So then I started searching some more, and there were some crazy ones. Like, another one that I saw was something along the lines of, it was when the last woolly mammoth died, the oldest tree known to man is already 1,000 years old. When the last woolly mammoth died, and supposedly still alive today. Like, freaking old ass tree.
Damn.
That's a fucking old tree.
Yeah. That's an old bitch.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, damn. Yeah, so I started looking some of these up, and then what's another one? Another one was when the very first covered wagon was crossing the Oregon Trail. That year, the fax machine was invented. Like, technology was already created when the first covered wagon was crossing the Oregon Trail.
That's insane.
I was like, no way, what the fuck are these guys doing? Like, what? That's wild. There was more that was like, so here it is. The last guillotine execution happened in France the same year Star Wars was released.
Holy Jesus.
Isn't that freaking nuts?
Serious?
That's wild.
That's
I was
insane.
Like, good God.
Like, I would have thought that would have ended in like way long ago.
Yeah, it's freaking nuts. Here's another one. The fax machine in the Oregon Trail. That was wild. Vincent van Gogh, the artist who made Starry Night, the year he created that masterpiece was the same year that Nintendo became a corporation. Isn't that freaking crazy?
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no.
Freaking crazy examples. Like, this is just a topic that I never even like
would have
thought of. Yeah. This discovery of vitamins happened the same year that the Titanic set sail.
Yeah, one of the crazy things that I had found out recently was that kind of something which I've always, it kind of ties into stuff that we've talked about, how like scientists don't want to be disproven on something.
Yep. Yeah.
And so like there is actually, I had found this out and I just re-looked it up, that I'll read it. U.S. Supreme Court ruling has forced the Smithsonian Institution to release classified papers dating from the early 1900s that proved an organization was involved in a major history cover-up of evidence showing giants' human remains in the tens and thousands had been uncovered all across America and were ordered to be destroyed. So, like, it's crazy that us as humans want to destroy evidence of history to keep the scientific, like, evolution of man right, or like how they want to say it, how they want to say it is. And it's like, literally there's documents that have been declassified that says like these things that people always thought were fake were real. Like, we have found giants' bones, and the Smithsonian destroyed tens of thousands. And it's just insane on what the government will do to try to keep you to believe a certain way they want you to believe. And like how scientists don't want to be disproven.
Right. Yeah. Because they spend their careers trying to like do something. And it's like, why? Like, that's just kind of like an ego thing, really, where, they work so hard to like discover what they discover, and they have something published, and, we're supposed to grow by bouncing things off each other and like having foundations to step on and like, climb from there, just grab like things to grab a hold onto, like little foundational pieces that we can work from, little platforms. And people get like offended or like don't want to be disproven, so they classify it as pseudoscience, or they say like, no, that's they just like, they push it by the wayside. Yeah. But
like it's not real and it didn't happen.
Yeah. It's like a great example I got here too of a gentleman, Friedman, Schrenk. It looks like,
I don't know.
Supposedly he, so I'm referring to Gigantopithecus. I think that's how you say it.
Probably.
But yeah, supposedly this is like the closest thing to what we might call Sasquatch. And there was like, little like hearsay kind of examples of proof here and there. I mean, whatever people wanted to believe, but from what I've seen, what happened was this gentleman like was at some market. Where was he? Yeah, so they were being sold as dragon's bones to be used in traditional Chinese medicine. After purchasing more teeth, he determined they had originated somewhere in the Guangdong. Yeah. Essentially, yeah, this guy like went to a market and bought these teeth that were supposedly being sold as dragon's bones. Yeah, it turns out it's a molar tooth from this Gigantopithecus, 2/3 lower molar teeth, which he noted were of enormous size. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, and then they found a jawbone as well, but supposedly that's all they got off of this creature, and this thing is enormous. Size here. And it's estimates based off of a tooth and a jawbone for what that's worth. But educated guesses estimated total height of about 3.7 meters or 12 feet. That's a fucking big. That's a big ass creature. Holy shit! I would not like to run into one of those things.
No.
Yeah, teeth and jaw. Yeah, so dental formula with 2 incisors and 1 canine, 2 premolars and 3 molars in each jaw. Yeah, you think these things are still walking around?
I mean, there's no one to disprove it.
Yeah, really.
So until it's actually disproved, you can't say it's not true.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I never even heard about this thing until a couple of weeks ago. I was like, that thing is enormous.
Yeah.
It's like literally it's like fucking taller. Like he wouldn't even fit in typical houses nowadays.
Yeah, no. And like it's hard to like disprove like all of like medieval, like saying all these random allegedly mythical creatures weren't ever real.
Right.
Because like if you think about it, if there were giants back then,
yeah,
in the mythical saying of like the medieval times or whatever, that there were giants back then.
Yeah.
So it could be proof that there physically were. Like, you never know what could be true and what couldn't be.
Yeah, no, it's wild. So there's this great point that also my manager, Sam, he's freaking so knowledgeable. He's awesome. He had a great point I never even thought about, but like we were talking about that, like crazy thoughts and ideas. Again, open mind, please keep an open mind. But like these stories, this folklore has got to come from somewhere, right? Where I mean, I feel like people back then weren't just pulling this shit out of their ass.
Yeah, no.
Like they've got, or at least there's got to be some sort of like a foundation where they've seen something along the lines. And yeah, maybe in photos, like they could have, or like etchings in the cave walls, they could have kind of like exaggerated some features or something. But like, there's got to be like a base or like, based on like things that they actually saw back then. Like, and also the fact that there's so many similar etchings and paintings and drawings on different, like in different caves, like all over the world. So it's like back then there wasn't cell phones or anything or any sort of communication long range like that. So it's not like they could just call over to like anybody living in America couldn't just call over to Europe and be like, yeah, hey man, are you seeing this fucking dragon thing too? Like, that's not happening. But like that just means that, these paintings and drawings are so similar. It's like they're seeing the same thing.
Yeah. And from like the Chinese to like all these other like religions, whatever, like they're somehow all tied in. They've all seen some sort of dragon. There's some sort of dragon tied in. There's some sort of giant tied in. There's some sort of like in like the stone walls and stuff that are like etched in or painted on.
What are these
like,
creatures?
There are things coming down from like outer space and stuff, like from the stars per se. Like like, how can all of these different civilizations be depicting a lot of the same, almost similar things around the same time? Or at different time periods throughout the history.
Without long range communication. So they're seeing the same things.
Yeah.
Like, that's freaking nuts. Like, so back to the example that my manager Sam, he was saying how with as far as like the dragons thing go, like bird bones when they die,
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, they're fucking hollow.
Yeah. Yep.
So like when birds die, like they can't fossilize, and there's no they can't,
or it's super rare if they fossilize.
Yeah, they can't fossilize and they can't be petrified because they break down because they're hollow for flight. Like birds, like obviously for flight they need to stay as light as possible. So, their bones are hollow, so they'll decompose. So, who's to say that that's not what happened with dragon-like creatures? You know, like maybe these things just died and decomposed, and there's no remnants of them. Like that it's just weird that there's so many drawings and like pictographs of these similar things in all parts of the world, where it's like, okay, either it's just a crazy coincidence that everybody in the world is just thinking the same thing or creating the same animal, or all these people all over the world were seeing the same creature, which is, I think this is more likely that they just saw the same thing. There had to have been something that everybody was seeing for everybody to have the same idea. Freaking wild.
Yeah, it is insane.
Yeah. But then another thing too is like the whole dinosaur situation going on there. That's like, I was talking to my girlfriend Katie about this a while back too. Like, so dinosaurs, we actually have like bones that we dug up, and actually like skeletons and fossils and stuff. So that we know for a fact. But like the way we like sculpted this and then just kind of like filled it in, I don't know like how accurate our
depiction of what it could be.
Of what these dinosaurs actually looked like are accurate, or like that they actually were scaly. I would like to like say that I would imagine that these things were more hairy than what we actually, less reptilian and more hairy than what we actually believe. Maybe even feathery too. Like, I feel like that's more of a, especially in like some of these like colder climates, like North America like this. And I feel like they're probably less reptilian. I don't know. Maybe the planet was warmer back then. I don't really know much about that topic, but that was another thing that I was thinking about. I'm like, yeah, maybe these fucking lizards weren't lizards. Maybe they were just like furry and had huge ass ears because it's cartilage and it just decomposes.
Yeah, like who knows if a T-Rex had massive ears, droopy ears like a fucking basset hound or something.
Monstrous
like,
elephant
no
ears.
one knows.
Yeah.
Like we're only depicting it from what we can,
from the skeletal
from the bones,
structure. Yeah. And it's like, take a dog skeleton, like a dog skull or something. That's like that's a scary, like reptilian looking skull. Like if you just have the skull, it's like, how would you fill that in if that's all we had? Yeah, same thing. I'd be like, oh fuck, that's got to be a lizard or a fucking dragon or something. But no, it's a furry little puppy dog.
Yeah,
but
has fucking floppy ears or pointy ears.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's crazy how we just like, you know, create these things in our mind, and then all of a sudden that's the way it is because enough people bought it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
What kind of beer are you drinking?
I'm drinking a good old IPA, good Two-Hearted Ale.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are. I'm not big into that stuff. I got a Bud Light.
Yep. Yeah, it took a couple of years to finally. So I'd say it's more of a, what is it, like try it a couple times and you'll like it. You'll find one you like.
Yeah.
It's like a, what's the word? I can't think of it. You got to try it a bunch of times to like it.
Yeah, like it's got to grow on you. It's an acquired taste.
Acquired taste. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to hate IPAs, and then all of a sudden started drinking them.
Yep.
Sam, our boss,
Yep.
or manager.
Yep.
was like, here, just try this. I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I just started to get more into them.
Branch out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like too thick. I don't know. I guess I like something a little bit lighter that I can just like kind of sip away at. Where those, I mean, some of them are okay. Where like there's some flavorful ones, but I think it's like the heavy ones that I just like have trouble. You know, I'm just like, if I'm gonna drink, it's not gonna be that. Like it's just like I would prefer to just have something.
Have a Bud Light.
Yeah, it's just easier. I know it's just like piss water.
Yeah.
But I
At
just,
least it's not Coors.
Yeah. I'd rather drink piss water than skunk juice.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. I mean, there's definitely a bunch of flavors.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just categorizing. Which is not fair,
I cannot drink any dark ales
really?
like Guinness or anything or stuff like that. That's too dark for me. So I like more of a richer hoppy flavor than like a deep dark hops or whatever.
I haven't really experimented a lot there. Like I've tried that Two Hearted or
Two Hearted.
but
I call it Two Heads.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just kind of stuck that way.
Dyslexia to the max.
Yep, literally. Said that I was at my sister's wedding. Go up to the bartender. I'm like, hey, can I get a Two Heads ale? And she's like, huh? You want a what? I'm like, a Two Heads ale. And then she's like, Two Hearted? And I'm like, fuck. Yes.
I guess
Two Hearted. Thank you. And then after that, she's like, Two Heads? I'm like, yes, please. Thank you. And she started calling it that. So I thought it was hilarious.
Have two heads. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, fuck. How many years have I been saying this wrong?
Fuck. Yeah, literally.
That's
probably ever
fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm branching out. I'm like trying different.
Try different ones. I'll be like, here, just try this.
And
usually you don't like them, but
sometimes I get sick of the Bud Lights. That's kind of my easy go to. I'm just like, Bud Lights, that's fine. But
then you got into your
Mickey's. Yeah, Michelob Ultra. I was drinking that for a while. I was drinking what else was I drinking for a while? Coronas. They got a lot. I was drinking a bunch of those. Never real. I'm not a Coors and Miller Lite guy. I don't really.
I can drink those if it's all there is to drink.
Yeah, I mean, I can get them down.
It's bigger piss water than Bud Light, but
yeah. There's less flavor. It's like sweeter. From what I know, it's like Bud Light's a wheat beer and Miller Lite's what is it?
I have no idea, to be honest. I just drink beer.
Miller Lite. Sorry, Miller Lite is a wheat beer and Bud Light is a rice beer. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you just say, oh, beer? Okay, cool.
Yep.
I don't care what's in it as long as I get drunk.
Yeah, drink that. Yeah. No, it's I'm branching out slowly.
Yeah, because you used to only drink Bud Lights and then, Mike's.
Yeah,
you also only drink Mike's and then.
Yeah, so I actually never had a sip of alcohol until I turned 21.
You're like, I'm never drinking beer.
Yeah, never.
No, not going to happen. All of a sudden, 21 gets fucking hammered.
Yeah, no, I didn't even actually on my 21st birthday.
We went to Kyoto.
Yeah, Kyoto. And then I don't know how the fuck to say it. Yeah, one of those two words. We went there. And that fancy Chinese restaurant where they cook in front of you.
They cook on those hot tables or whatever.
And they throw eggs in their hats.
What are they called? Hibachi?
Yeah, I think hibachi grills or something like that. Yeah. But they like throw eggs at you and in their hats and stuff.
Like to throw their shrimp in your mouth.
Yeah. They sling their fish at you. But anyways, I went there and I ordered a mango margarita. It was the first drink I ever had and it was fucking strong.
Yeah, it was. And then I got Moscow Mule.
Yeah,
that thing
I
was
forgot
strong
about that
too.
Yeah, so I had a sip of yours and I had, because obviously he went with the family to my 21st birthday here.
Yeah.
Freaking inseparable. But so I had that and I literally had a sip and I just I was ready to gag after tasting it. Like I couldn't even swallow it and I just gave it to my dad and he's like, tastes like juice. Let me have another.
Yep.
But and it was literally Mike's because that was like the only thing I can get down. And what's funny now is like I drink Mike's now and it's like I can barely get through one for a different reason because it's like too sugary.
Pure
it's like
sugar, yeah.
it's like like my stomach starts turning just drinking one of them, and I'm like I'll get in like a beachy kind of mood. I'll start playing some music and be like, oh yeah, it's summertime.
Jimmy Buffett and stuff.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Beach Boys, Jimmy Buffett. What's that other one we listen to a lot?
Jeez. I don't know. There's so many that we just listen to and just throw on.
No, that one band though that like we've been listening to a lot. It's like what are those guys?
I don't know. I can't remember. Pull it up on your phone. You probably have it on your phone somewhere.
Yeah, it was like that. You know that girl you were talking to for a while. She kind of turned you on to this.
Oh gosh. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Oh please.
I'm actually upset that I can't remember it.
Yeah, me too.
Because I still listen to them.
They're so good, and I'm gonna be like so upset that I can't think of it. So.
Dirty Heads.
Dirty Heads, yeah. They're so fucking good.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah, so good. They got great music. But they also got some songs where I'm like, okay, this one's not for me.
Yeah.
But like most of their songs are just really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing some of that music, getting in that like beachy kind of relaxing vibe, and then I'll have a Mike's and or a Truly, something like kind of fruity.
Yeah.
I like getting some fruity drinks. I like getting my fruit on.
Yeah.
And but then it's like one, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot of sugar. Time for a beer.
Yeah. Can only be like this for so long.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, it's time to drink a Bud Light. Gotta get my manhood back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then once I start drinking, then it's like, all right, it's
party time.
Yeah, party time and time to light up a cigar.
Yep. Yeah, we just got into cigars.
Getting into cigars, and I fucking love them.
Oh,
they're so good. Yeah, it's awesome. Like like me being like all like froofy and like, no, I don't want to be a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kept resisted from drinking, and then smoking nothing, and then we were at a work party, and our boss pulled out some cigars for us, and I'm like, oh shit, sir, I've never smoked anything. But he's like, relax, Brody, I got you. Here, you just, oh yeah, you got chief it. You just chief it.
Yep.
he's whispering in my ear. He's like, yeah, just chief it. No. Wrap those lips around it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, sir.
Okay,
it's my first time.
Gentle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, but it was amazing. I was like, damn.
Yeah, you were like going crazy. I remember. Because I've smoked a few cigars by that time.
Yeah.
And like I would only do it with my stepdad and stuff, but he'd hand me one, I'd have it. And then ever since that work party, it was like we just started going.
Oh yeah,
going to.
It was like every other weekend we were having a cigar.
Yep.
Fuck. It's freaking that first cigar though, dude. I sucked that thing dry.
Oh yeah, I know you did. You were like all the way down to your little fucking finger, not
like,
burning yourself.
I just want more.
And I'm like, all right, I got
good.
just past the sweet spot. And tossing it.
Oh fuck. And then I got so into them, and we're like, going to our local cigar shop and like just experimenting with all these things. Like, oh. So good. I love them. And then I got all the like different ways to like cut them, and you got like your standard cutter for those like the cone rolled ones. I don't even know all the terminology. Still fresh. I mean, this is like last year we started, and
like near the end of the year.
Yeah. Too. And then I got the V cutter, and I got a hole punch, but I really prefer the hole punch. I feel like it's just cleaner. Like you get a cleaner cut, and it's just like less like Scooby snacks on your lips.
Yep.
So I like the hole punch. It's just like a crisper suck.
Oh yeah.
But the regular cutter is good too if you got like the cone ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I freaking love. Yeah, it's I'll try them all. And I've had like flavored ones, like the flavor infused ones, and then the like non-flavor infused ones. But and I enjoy all of them for like just the different notes and like flavors. They're all good, but I really do enjoy acid cigars. Like they're fucking so good.
You can't go wrong with
yeah. They got their 20-year anniversary one that's like their least infused. It's like the most traditional one they make, and it's fucking delicious.
Oh yeah.
I love that one. It's a box press, a double box press, so it's like actually square. It's fucking amazing. I love that one. I actually got one, but it's just too cold. Too cold.
And we're in the house.
Yeah, I don't want to sit outside in freaking 10-degree weather having a cigar.
Yeah.
Just gotta wait for that summer weather. I got my cigars ready.
Cigars ready. Move this thing to the outside.
Yep. Yeah, I got my garage I'm working on. Got the pool table out there. Got some workbench stuff, dartboard. And eventually we'll move this podcast recording studio out to the garage. And the only issue is currently don't have heat in the garage. But this summer project, we're gonna get that place insulated and a heater installed. So bought the house without power like that. The garage didn't have power, and
your house had power, but
the house had power. Yeah,
bought the house without power, installed it myself.
Yep, I did it all myself. There wasn't even a house. I just bought the dirt.
Yeah, bought it off a Sears catalog.
Yeah, they actually shipped it to me. No,
Rebuilt.
but So
which sorry to stop you, but
no, you're good.
They did used to do that. Like, there's a bunch of houses in Crystal Lake that are still Sears built houses. Like a dude,
really?
Yeah, there's one not too far
nuts.
from us that a dude had built himself after he came back from the military.
That's
he bought
crazy.
the house and bought it off a Sears catalog.
What?
And it gives you like everything you need to build it, and he built it himself.
Damn.
And it's still standing. Like, there's like 3 or 4 of them still standing to this day.
That's awesome.
It's crazy how like handy
Do you
people
have a lifetime
were.
warranty?
I wish if Sears, I think Sears went out of business.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but it's just crazy like how handy people were back then. Like, you'd go onto a Sears catalog, you could buy guns off it, everything off it, and you'd buy a house off it, build it yourself.
Wow.
Like, how many people don't build their own house nowadays? And how, no offense, I feel like our society's gotten soft.
Oh yeah, nobody knows.
That's a whole different topic for another.
Yeah, I will sum it up by saying pretty much nobody knows how anything happens. They just use it.
Yeah.
But
it's
we like to
right there in their hand.
Right.
Away.
Yeah, instant gratification and instant, like, you see people sitting at the microwave tapping their feet like, come on. And it's like, okay, let's rewind like 50 years here and fucking,
learn to cook again.
Yeah, learn to cook. And also, like, before just cooking, it was like, I'm hungry. Time to go hunt or time to go fish.
Let's
and it's
go get
like
a squirrel or a rabbit.
You get hungry, and all of a sudden you're waiting like freaking hours if you're lucky.
Yeah, sometimes you'll go a day or so.
Yeah,
like if you're out in the wild and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god. And now people are sitting at the microwave with their like prepackaged shit that they just have to open up, put in a bowl, splash some water, throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and they're still sitting there tapping their foot like, oh, come on, I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez, guys.
Yeah. It's
crazy, this like instant feedback, instant knowledge, instant gratification.
It's a fast world.
Yeah,
now.
fast-paced world. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's a whole topic for another
time.
Yeah,
yeah, but fuck.
Whatever we were talking about beforehand.
Yeah, Sears catalog houses, ordering your house from a catalog, just having it shipped to your mailbox.
Yep.
Just kidding. But speaking of just like weird house situations, like ordering houses off a catalog, they can 3D print houses now.
Oh yeah, I've seen that concrete stuff.
That's nuts. Yeah, 3D printing.
And it's like only a couple days it takes, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like they set it up for a couple days and they just like 3D print like the walls and like concrete walls for a house. Like, that's
and
nuts.
It's like 10 times stronger.
Yeah, stronger. And, thicker, better insulated. Yeah, and so much faster. That's so crazy.
They've made houses to where you can build them like Legos too.
Oh,
like where
really?
It's like blocks and you just stack them.
Those are bricks. Those have been around for a long time.
Fuck. I thought I was finally knowledgeable. No, but like it's literally like almost like a Lego.
They link together like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Let's see.
Fuck, I guess like kids that were just good at building Lego sets, they're just like, oh fuck, there's no or their parents are like, son, there's no career in Lego building. Get off your ass and get to work.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I'll show you, Dad.
Yeah, literally. That's probably how it was.
And they're just like, yeah, they come up with this solution. They're like, oh, yeah, adult Legos.
Yeah, literally. Let's see. I want to find this because I've seen it before.
Yeah. Okay, look that up. I have to go pee.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, we are back. So what you got for us?
So it is called Gablock. And it's actually like an insulated frame. Like it's a framing block.
Yeah.
It was founded in 2019. And a fan of interlocking building blocks toys from an early age. He like kind of invented it from that. I don't have a name, but of the guy, but I'm on their website. And
crazy.
Yeah, it's basically just like insulated blocks, which basically look like Legos.
Huh.
And
are they like plastic like Legos with insulation, or
no? It's surrounded in like
that's
plywood,
crazy.
And then it's all insulated. So it's like all insulated, and it
cool.
like just stacks on top of each other.
Dang.
So I'm like, that's like a genius idea.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Genius idea, and like no one normally would think to even build like build a house like Legos.
Yeah,
like
it's freaking wild.
And it's like the simplest concepts make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, dang.
That's a crazy thing.
Yeah, I wonder if like Lego houses are easier for ghosts to haunt.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, because there's corners everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, all blocks.
Yeah,
all squares.
Yeah, and inside the insulation, there's corners too. It's like millions of corners. No, but actually, thinking back on the ghost topic, I forgot there's another story that I wanted to ask you to share too, about that topic that we started with. You were recently, well, not recently, but a little while ago, house searching too, and you had an experience at a house you were touring, didn't you? And you...
Trying to remember.
Yeah, and you had the video.
Oh, yeah. So me and an ex of mine, we were going to move out to Texas, Oklahoma, or like a New Mexico area.
Anywhere but here.
Anywhere but here. But so it was just me and her mom at the time. And I took a few days off of work, went out there, went to Texas, saw a place.
Yeah.
Then we went out to another place in Texas. And it was like this old ranch home. I want to say it looked like a ranch home to me.
Yeah.
Like you can tell it's been there for a long ass time. The house was like all settled, uneven, butcher block tables, everything like that. The house was used. The property was used.
So
like
murder block tables.
Yeah, pretty much. But we're walking around and we go out to the back part of the property, and there's a few lodges, like little buildings out there, and like they're all destroyed.
Yep.
Like the first thing I was feeling was like, we need to tear these things down. They're just weird and eerie if we move out here. And there's a bunch of silos there too, like half silos. Mm-hmm. And cool. We're walking through one. We go in one, and it's like just destroyed. Like someone I felt like had like lived in it at the time. Yep. And then all of a sudden I'm filming this for my ex so then she could see what the property was like. Yep. And my phone's fully charged, just got out of the car and stuff. Yeah. And so I'm walking out of the door, and all of a sudden my phone just like freaks out. Like all like the screen just goes all static, all like blocky.
And you have an iPhone.
And I have an iPhone. Like it was a brand new at the time. So I had it, and I was going through there, and it just gets all staticky. The screen like is all blotchy, like it's super laggy and cutting out. And it was almost like not static, but it was like almost to where if like, how can I don't even know how to describe it. Like where the screen is like long rectangles, like interlocking with each other and like just freaking out. And then all of a sudden my phone shuts off. Damn. So, and it wouldn't turn on when I'm near the building. And then I walk away, we start to go towards the back of the lot. I turn it on, and it's almost dead. Huh. And I just had it fully charged. And I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. And like, I turn it on, and I go back to the recording, and all of a sudden it's right as I'm getting to the door, is when it all freaks out. And it had the whole
walking
thing.
In or walking out?
Walking out. So we were leaving that building. And so it just freaked out, and I have the video. It's regular, perfectly fine going in, walking around. As I'm walking out, it just cuts out and like it's all blotchy, and then the video ends because my phone died.
Yeah.
And so
that's crazy. On an Apple is so weird. Like,
yeah.
Especially if it was like a new model. I actually did see this video too, and it's creepy for sure, because it's like, and you wouldn't think like an iPhone would do something. And then like, especially like having that full charge or like near full battery, and then that happens and you turn it back on, and all of a sudden it's like almost dead. And it's like, and I think you might know a little more, but like isn't there something along the lines of like the like spirits like that can suck batteries?
So like a lot of the times when people do like paranormal researches, they'll have like a little battery box, and they'll use it to where they can have it to where a spirit will come up to it and take the charge out of it, so that it can manifest itself better. So I'm thinking that like whatever was there, because I felt eerie going to those things in the first place, and so I'm thinking something stole whatever energy from my phone and did whatever. Like I didn't have like an experiencer, but I did feel really uneasy walking into that building. Yeah,
that's so crazy. Yeah, you get that like intuitive sense, that weird gut feeling, and that's crazy. And you had, didn't you say you had goosebumps too?
And it was just creepy.
Yeah, that's weird. I remember when we were house touring too, and like I love my dogs, and so we didn't have our Australian Shepherd, our miniature. We have a miniature Australian Shepherd, and she is 1.5 now, but we also have a chocolate lab, and not quite 1.5, but shortly, a year and a few months. But we also have a chocolate lab who is 5 and almost a half, and the chocolate lab, so he freaking loved that dog. That dog is so smart. I would bring him, so we'd tour a house. And then after we'd tour the inside with the realtor, then we would drive back if we liked it and we're like, yeah, we could see this, then we'd take Baron there and like walk the property, and just to get a feel for what he thought. And like, that might sound weird, but like I just wanted to see like how he would react, because I feel like animals kind of have more of that intuitive sense too, because they're like we were talking about with our distractions now again, not like earlier, they're more grounded. Like they don't have that technology, or that like they haven't separated or isolated themselves from the world, where humans kind of have created their own world inside this world, where we're kind of isolated from like that natural sense. So I took him there, and he this one house in particular, it was old and kind of run down and a little creepy looking, but it was still a cute place, like if you didn't think about the creepiness. I think what made it creepy was just my chocolate lab's name is Baron, and just Baron's reaction. And we get there, and when we step on the property into the grass, like his hair on his back stands up, and it wasn't like he had an animal scent or anything, because like he didn't run after anything. He didn't run off chasing something. Like his hair stood up, and he's like growling, and we're walking around, and he's like barking, but like nothing in particular. Like I didn't see what he was barking at, and I'm like, okie dokie, thank you, buddy. I love you. That's all the information I needed. Let's get out of here. So that was definitely another situation where that was weird. And speaking of doggos, I apologize for the squeaking in the background. I'm picking that up on the headset right now. So we'll just leave that in there, and I'm just gonna apologize for that. They're playing with their little squeaky toy. So, but that was definitely really weird. So another situation, because I haven't had really many or as many encounters as you have or some people have. But yeah, that was another one that I actually forgot to bring up earlier.
Yeah, I forgot about that because you told me that too.
Yeah. All right. You got your foil hat.
Oh yeah, I always have that prepared.
Yeah. Aliens.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me.
Well, going back to the thing of like where like all these other ancient civilizations have had all these encounters with a higher power of coming from outer space, like depicted in the stars and stuff. Like,
yeah,
all these things have come down and done something. Like how did, like, a big thing that everyone talks about is how did the Egyptians build their structures like in such a way where it's like in line with so much stuff.
Yep.
Like, I'd have to go more into research with it.
Yep.
But it's like I remember hearing stuff on like how is it like so in line with like the center of the earth and or the
something the pyramids are let's look that up. It's like pointed specifically at something really in like at a certain date. I think it might be pointing at something very like specific for how old it is or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Some researchers suggest that the Giza pyramids were built in alignment with the stars. There's just so much that like
the pyramids are definitely another subject that we could have a whole separate episode on, probably multiple episodes on.
But like the way they're built, like I want to say it was like something with like True North or something. It was lined up something with True North and everything, and I don't remember. But it's kind of insane, like how everything was built in such precision, and how all these other civilizations were built close to the same way the pyramids were. Like the Aztecs built pyramids too of some sorts? I don't know. I could be completely wrong because I'm not good at this stuff.
So it says he notes that the Great Pyramid is nearly perfectly aligned along the cardinal points north, south, east, and west with an accuracy of better than 4 minutes of arc, or 1/15 of 1 degree.
Yeah. Like, it's insane on how precise they were. And we're allegedly thinking that they are a stone age type ordeal.
Yeah, another one. The tombs are aligned north-south with an accuracy of up to 0.05 degrees. How the Egyptians did this has been unclear. Today, you can align a building north-south by pointing the sides towards the pole star, which sits roughly at true north.
Yeah. Like, it's insane on how many civilizations we cannot figure out how they were built. Yeah. And we're allegedly one of the most, like, technological, like, civilizations, you know?
Yeah, but another thing, too, that's crazy is just how fragile we are. Like, like, think about everything we've created, like, all of our structures. And so, like, we haven't seen anything yet. Like, imagine something wild that's uncontrollable. Like, we're so much more fragile than people think because we get wrapped up in our own lives. But like, imagine like a massive asteroid or a meteor, or like another example is just like a super volcano, like that, like Yellowstone. That whole fucking place is a super volcano. Like that place erupts, and I think it's like every 6,000 years or so is like what they're estimating that thing erupts, and we're like fucking sitting our asses right on 6,000, if I remember right. But something like that, or a monstrous meteor, and like those meteor showers that like go by, like what I can't remember it. There's like recent meteor showers that happen like every so years or every year, something like that, and like they're thinking that one specific year we went right through it, and one of those meteors hit Earth, and that was what wiped out the dinos.
And like there was I think
what is that?
recently sometime there was a asteroid which actually came super fucking close to Earth, and like everyone, like we didn't even detect it at the time, like we had no idea that it was even coming. It says here that we have about another 90,000 years away from the time when we might consider calling Yellowstone overdue for another eruption.
How long?
About 90,000 years.
Oh shit, I was fucking way off.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I thought it was sooner too. I mean, you never know. Because I know Old Glory, I think, is drying up allegedly.
Is she now?
Oh, yeah.
We better send you over to her.
Ooh. Hey-o. Yeah, because it's the eruption, or the time it like geysers is actually becoming longer.
Oh, that's it. The driest theory. The driest impact theory.
Oh.
Yeah, driest impact theory hypothesis that an extraterrestrial object exploded over North America at 12.9. What the fuck is Ka? God, I'm such an idiot.
Kilometers an hour? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a history nut.
Kiss ass. I don't know. Yeah. Oh god, that's embarrassing. Yeah, actually now it makes sense because that's not a measurement of speed. That's a measurement of acidity. That's what it is. Because they can do like those tests of like the layers, like the carbon dating and like the tests like that. And like there's a specific layer of acidity that they're believing is this younger, driest, cold event with the meteor and clouds of ash covering, blocking the sun, and just killed off like however many percentage of the megafauna.
So what I saw, it's a hypothesized extraterrestrial impact in North America at 12,900 calendar years. So I guess it's calendar years is what Ka is. I don't know.
Huh. Calendar with a K. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. That's crazy.
But yeah, there's like so many things that we uncover and unknowingly find it. Like there's so many civilizations that we never knew were there that are actually buried pretty far down.
Yeah.
And so like there's also like all of these structures that are built in the same manner.
Yep.
Like all throughout all these civilizations, that how could one civilization be so much alike the other and be building the same type of structures when allegedly they didn't even know each other were there?
Yeah. Well, and then also too, I forgot I never came full circle, but what I was saying too about the buildings nowadays, like something like a great event like that, like the Younger Dryas period, or like that impact theory, or like a super volcano can just wipe out the like majority of the planet. Like, and think of the structures and like the structural integrity of what we make nowadays. Like,
it's pretty weak.
Like, think of all, like what are some huge buildings that we make? Like freaking none of them, any of the, none of these skyscrapers would hold up, or like even like just houses, like nothing that we build would hold up. But like you look at the Great Pyramids, like that's a fucking structure that would hold up. Like obviously it did. And like the pyramid, like the actual like shape of a pyramid is the strongest structure, like architecturally. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But like speaking, like you, cause like, and the reason for that is take that design, that structure, and you press on the top, and all you're doing is linking those walls together more. When you push on it, it's pressing against itself even more. So it's like the more pressure you put on it, the more support it's giving itself. So it's like such a strong design. Like every side is just supporting itself even more. So that's like the strongest design that we have. And obviously it withstood whatever happened before. Cause I'm thinking that these pyramids were around a lot longer than we thought. Like, I think it was before some great destruction that wiped out everything. And I think these people that created this had technology that that we don't have, or like a different branch. Like, people made decisions in our like life, like our direction of humanity or civilization, like made decisions that kind of warped or changed the way that we create technology. And I'm sure like after a previous like great reset like that, like they went a different route and they had different technologies that we've never even thought of. Like, and again, an example, I was talking to our manager, Sam, he so smart, but he was saying how like the blocks that they used for the Great Pyramids, like the quarry they cut these blocks out of were what they said was like 100 or over 100 miles away. Mm-hmm. And how did they transport that? How did they transport those? And his thought on that was, when you're playing music really loudly and like you see like you have a glass of water on the table or whatever, and the water's vibrating or like shaking or rippling. Yep. Or like if it's playing loud enough and you got something light on the table and it's just kind of like vibrating and bouncing and it like falls off the table or whatever. Same thing, like some sort of a technology using sound waves. Yeah. Where they were able to like vibrate these blocks to transport them using some kind of a technology with sound waves, which is something that we, like from a physics standpoint, obviously possible because we've seen that, but like technology that on a scale that we've never thought of before. Yeah. Which is freaking amazing. But
and like going with like the ancient building and stuff, like the Romans, like the Roman cathedral, that big. Is it the Roman cathedral? That big structure that they have out there? Yeah. Yeah, they like all the Roman structures, like they have found out like Romans were able to create concrete that's basically self-healing. So like nowadays, like our concrete, it's like, I think it's cold poured, I want to say, instead of like hot poured, how the Romans did it. And the calcium that's inside of this concrete, they found out that it recrystallizes itself along like the cracks and stuff from water cracks. Dang. And it's basically healing itself. So that's why the Roman,
that's crazy.
Like everything that the Romans built are lasting for so long because it's able to heal itself. And any concrete we make nowadays is just
crap.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. So I got the Great Pyramid on an average block used to build the Great Pyramid is 2.5 tons. 8,000 tons of granite were imported from Oswane. Yeah, located at more than 800 kilometers away. The largest granite stones in the pyramid found above the king's chamber weigh 25 to 80 tons each.
Jesus.
Damn.
That's insane.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 800 kilometers. So I just converted that to miles. It's 497 miles.
That's insane.
0.097.
Like there's no way that they could.
Yeah.
That they could do
it's not,
that just from.
Yeah. What did we learn?
Allegedly they did it back then with ropes pulling it.
Yeah. What did we learn in our history classes? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, guys, let's get 4 guys together. Okay. Throw this rope over. All right. You guys got. All right. Pull.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
That's not. And no do way. That. How many times?
A fuck ton. I have no idea how many blocks there are, and that's not counting how they built the inside of the pyramids.
Oh my God. That's insane. 2,300,000, more than 2,300,000 limestone blocks and granite blocks were pushed. There's no it says pushed, pulled, and dragged into place on the Great Pyramid.
Impossible.
Yep, that's not happening unless there was freaking some big ass dinos that they tamed.
Yeah, literally.
The average block is this one says average block is 2.3 metric tons.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah. 2.3 metric tons, so 2.5 tons. I didn't know there was a difference between metric tons and tons.
There's always a metric system to the American way.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Says Americans like to be different.
Yep. Okay, yeah, this is saying the Greek historian Herodotus, I don't know, was told that it took 100,000 men 20 years to build the Great Pyramid of Giza. Scholars today, however, think it may have been built by only 20,000 men over 20 years. A pyramid's large square base creates a very stable structure.
But how are you able to take over 20,000 to 100,000 men and build it so precisely? I'm sorry. I don't think with that much manpower that you'd be on point with where it's supposed to be. I don't know.
Okay, how did the Great Pyramids actually get built? The most plausible one is that the Egyptians employed a sloping and encircling embankment of brick, earth, and sand, which was increased in height and length as the pyramid rose. Stone blocks were hauled up the ramp by means of sledges, rollers, and levers.
I don't know. That doesn't really sound that.
Yeah, that's because that's all we can think about. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that I'm not gonna buy that one.
Yeah. Aliens.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm sorry. There's too much in having it like structurally perfect for there not to be some sort of extraterrestrial like helping out, or like extraterrestrial technology that they had that they did not depict in all the writings.
Yeah, and it's not like humans back then were bigger too. From what I know, humans are actually growing in size. Like it was like freaking back in World War I think the average man was like an inch or two shorter. But like I know as a species we're getting bigger.
Yeah. It was 167 centimeter or 168 centimeters or 5'6".
What about now?
The average man's height now is 5'9".
Okay.
So 3 inches.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember you sent me a TikTok video a little while ago about Devil's Tower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's freaking nuts.
Which I did do a little more research, and it was a deep fake.
Oh.
So
shit.
Yeah, but on that topic, like how a lot of people think that Devil's Tower is like an old petrified tree and stuff, and how like a lot of places in like the Grand Canyon and stuff, people think like some of those massive things are old petrified trees and stuff, and like if things were petrified, like if those are petrified trees, it would be a kind of like connect how like there are like giants and stuff, and like how dinosaurs and everything, like dinosaurs couldn't have lived with us or like on this earth that size off of the trees that are here now.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna need
like it would make sense like with the
the redwood forest.
The redwood forest, yeah. Like how those trees are so massive and stuff, and like there's probably trees that size and even larger back then. So you never know like how large or what the scale of everything truly was back then. So like who knows? Devil's Tower could truly be a old giant fossilized tree. Like there's fossilized wood throughout the whole planet. What is there that like we don't know?
Yeah.
Like how much do we truly know about how our planet's past was?
Yeah. Yeah, have you personally ever seen anything frigged up in the sky or anywhere?
I don't know. I haven't really experienced anything. Like one time I thought the Starlink was like when you were out in Chicago.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what the fuck is that? We'll look up in the sky, and we did research. And
just like line. It was just like literally like looked like a star, but it was like not flashing or like flickering. It was just like a whole link of satellites.
There are a few things which are like weird natural phenomenons where it's like how in like Iceland and stuff, there's like these places where the rocks like form in hexagons.
Huh.
And it's kind of like, how in the world
Yeah.
does it form like that? Because there's like hundreds and like thousands of these things.
Yeah.
Like it's like it just breaks off in like a perfect hexagon shape.
Yeah. That's.
I don't know what the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. It's like a bunch of these hexagons just like all up along the shoreline and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like how does that even form? Like we can't. I don't know if we come up with like a solution on how that happened, but like
yeah, that's crazy.
There's just so much about Earth that we still do not know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like not even scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Well, weren't you telling me about a gas layer under the ocean or something like that?
Oh yeah, there was. Oh, let's pull it up.
So I'm finding like these gas frozen layers, like these frozen solid layers of gas on the sea floor, deep ocean floor around gas seep sites is often covered by methane hydrates. These are solid crystals of methane encapsulated in ice, which form under the low temperature and high pressures of a typical ocean depths greater than about 1,500 feet.
Yeah. And like there's these, I think it's the same thing, but it's like it was like a pool, and it's like
methane gas.
Was it 3 to 80 times saltier than the average ocean? Like anything that would fall into there, like it's completely toxic to them.
Huh.
And it's just like these pools throughout the ocean floor.
Dang.
And I want to say there was like, I've heard like conspiracies about, I don't know if it's true, but like conspiracies of the guy who found it. Like it was, I think they made a documentary on it, and then allegedly like the guy died or whatever.
Huh.
And like people are saying like it's like a cover up for something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Well, what else is down there? You got like giant squids, like these giant squid attacks and octopuses.
Oh yeah.
Like the mythical Kraken.
Yeah.
From like Pirates of the Caribbean. But yeah, those things are freaking nuts because it's like, yeah, the giant squid actually, never really attacked ships. We barely know anything about these things, and we didn't even get the first photograph of a live one until 2004, and not filmed until several years later. Underwater video not accomplished until 2012. Freaking crazy.
That's insane. Like there's just so much about the ocean that we like truly don't know.
Yeah, the ocean is basically space.
Yeah, literally.
Like freaking, I mean, how vast that is, like how there's no way that we've discovered there's still freaking like discovering things. That's freaking wild. Like, the octopus. I remember hearing something about like that not coming from our planet, or like its DNA coming from some sort of a meteor or something like that. Yeah, the octopuses are aliens, or at least so vastly different in their genetic makeup that they might as well be considered out of this world. Scientists recently sequenced the first genome in the Octopus Genome Project, a huge undertaking to map out the entire DNA structure of the complex cephalopod. Octopus have 33,000 genes, roughly 10,000 more than a human.
Jesus.
This alone sets them apart from any other invertebrate in the world. Yeah, I knew they were smart too. Uncannily clever with their ability to open jars, solve puzzles, and even use tools. It's no wonder that some may think this creature is from another planet. In uncovering the sequence, scientists found the octopus have a similar set of genes to those found in humans that make up the neural network in their brains, which accounts for the quick ability to adapt and learn. We also share a large brain, closed circulatory system, and eyes with an iris, retina, and lens. All of these independently developed in another species vastly different from our own mammal or origins.
That's insane that we're like some parts of us are close to an octopus.
Yeah, that's goof. Yeah, amazing at camouflage.
There's so many creatures that like we have still yet to discover.
Yep.
And like we're still discovering like new things every day.
Yeah. There's so many like weird things in the ocean that are like, like here, the Bermuda Triangle and the Mariana Trench. Isn't that the deepest spot in the ocean? Pretty sure.
I think so.
Yep. The spot in the ocean off the Mariana Islands near Guam is the deepest point on Earth, nearly 7 miles down. In comparison to Mount Everest, is only 5.5 miles tall.
Insane.
Yeah.
That, like, and we've like barely even explored that, I think.
Yeah. I would imagine there's some fucked up creatures down there.
Oh, for sure. Because like once you get that deep, I know like the whole structure of the creatures are completely changed.
Yeah, because of the pressure of the water. Because you can't
bring them up to the surface.
We can't survive down there.
Kind of like a blobfish.
Yeah, we just freaking be crushed in on the way to the ocean if we went down there because we're such fragile beings.
Yeah, like the blobfish is 2,000 to 4,000 feet in the ocean.
Damn, I never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's that fish that like, let's get a picture. It's like an ugly fucking thing. This thing looks like a human face.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it looks like that. Huh. But when it comes up to the surface, it's like it's so used to, or it's made to be so far deep
under
once
pressure.
Once it like the gravity, I guess. Yeah. The gravity like causes it to become like all floppy and ugly.
Huh. Wait, so that's it under the water, and that's it when it's at the surface?
This is it under the water, and that's it at the surface.
Oh, so at the surface it gets all jelly.
It gets all jelly-like. Like it's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like the person in your family that just decides to keep like eating Oreos their whole life and just doesn't stop, and that's all they eat.
Yeah. Would you give it a kiss for?
Oh God, no.
$100?
No, for sure not.
How about $100 million?
Okay, yeah, 100 million's a different.
You'd stick your tongue down that thing
still? Yeah, no. Hard pass
for $100 million.
Yeah, no. That's a big old hard pass.
Oh fuck. I might. I don't know. Maybe not.
It's a blobfish, for God's sake.
I gotta see if it's got teeth. I don't know. Maybe.
No, it doesn't have teeth. Let's see.
You brush its gums, and then I'd consider.
It might have teeth. I'm not sure.
Maybe not. Never mind. Yeah, and also the darkness too. That's another factor that like you don't think about. Like sunlight can't penetrate the ocean. That like once you get to that certain level, it's like you're not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because creatures at like a lower, like deeper place are like see through.
Yeah.
Like they get like
they don't get tans.
Yeah. No, they're like little jellyfish, but have like some of them have bone structures and stuff, but they're see through.
Yeah, and they probably can't even see each other because it's so dark anyway. So they don't even need it. They don't even need to use self tanner.
Like per se, like if you're in a cave system for a certain amount of time, you physically go blind because you can't see anything.
Yeah. Because it gets so dark. I remember like doing cave tours and.
This was when you were younger, I think, right?
Yeah, we've done a few different cave tours before, but yeah, where they like take you down to specific spots, and then all of a sudden they're just like, "All right, everybody, cut your lights," and they turn off the lights, and it's black, like it's dark as like you won't experience anything that dark ever.
Yeah,
anywhere. Like that's as dark as it gets.
Yeah, it might cause temporary blindness after a few days of being in the dark.
Yeah, and your eyes, when that happens, when you go into that dark spot, it's like your eyes just feel like they open up so wide. Like you've never been like so wide-eyed in your life, and your eyes are just like scrounging and craving for any form of vision or light that they can find.
I know, like even like in like some cases, I want to say, like you actually start to think you're seeing something.
Yeah.
Like your eyes create its own images.
Yeah, and then I'm sure like you can't, at that point, it's like you can't decipher the difference between what you're seeing or what your mind is visualizing. It like all melds into one because your brain's just like, oh, must be the same.
Yep. I was just looking this up. I guess, fun fact I just learned, 10 days of darkness causes temporary blindness during the early critical period in felines.
Huh.
So if a cat is not able to see or is only in darkness for a few days, it causes some blindness for a while.
So peekaboo is dangerous. Don't play that with your kids for too long.
Yep. Yeah. Don't let them be in the dark for too long.
Yeah, you make your kids blind.
Yep. If your kid was a cat.
Yeah.
It's probably the same for humans, but I mean, yeah, because most creatures like that are in cave systems that never see light, they are blind.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because they got like freaking echolocation or like
stuff
bats.
Like that, like
bats
weird
are
stuff.
blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't know if bats are truly blind.
If you're blind as a bat, you are.
Bats are not blind. Bats have small eyes with very sensitive vision.
Son of beach.
Which helps them see in conditions we might consider pitch black. They do not have the sharp and colorful vision humans have, but they don't need that. So they can see, just their vision is super sensitive. So us learning as kids that bats are blind was completely wrong.
Just like everything else we learn in school.
Yeah. Yeah, 90% of it is all just cover-ups.
Yeah.
AKA like giants. Giants are fucking real. It's proven that there were documents that the Smithsonian destroyed. So not everything that we learn in school is the right way.
Well, that's because you're basically just conformed to how they want you to be, because actually the school system was designed to create better workers, to better employees during the revolutionary, what is that? The industrial age, where they needed factory workers. So they based the school system off of trying to create like better employees, and we never got away from that. And you're just trying to make cogs in the system.
And like one little thing which I had learned outside of high school is that if you want to look it up, I'll have you look it up yourself, but it's called the Oklahoma bombing. And it is basically cut out of the history of the U.S. And it's basically a bunch of white men, when race was a big thing back then, they actually made homemade explosives and blew up a town in Oklahoma that the black community had built, and like created their own sustained like town.
Yeah.
And men did not like that, and they actually blew up like a bunch of like the whole town pretty much, and it's completely covered up in the U.S. history.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's kind of a little fun thing to go look back into.
Yeah.
And like how much like the government is trying to hide from our history.
Yep. Yeah. You know what I wonder too? Like I wonder a lot about like what other, like we teach our kids about like world history, but like that's our lens. Like what do other countries teach about world history? Like what are other countries teaching their children about like World War I and II? Like what are their sides?
How are they like perceiving how like it all went down?
Yeah. I don't know what they talk about, what their side is. That's interesting.
Yeah, it would be an interesting thing to look into.
Yeah.
And how much like which the government is supposed to be helping. The government helps us. The government's not supposed to.
Yeah, they're supposed to be serving us.
Serving. But
yeah, they're
I feel like the
employees of
roles
us.
have, like, over time, the government has made it to where it looks like the roles are flipped.
Yeah, exactly, because they get into power and the power gets to their head, but they're supposed to be employees or public servants of us. We employ them, but yeah, the power gets to their head.
Yeah.
All of them.
Oh, for sure.
Both
Which
sides.
there's some good out there, but there's a big, massive chunk overpowered.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like once you kind of have a power position for long enough, eventually it gets to your head. Yeah. On any belief.
Mm-hmm.
We are over the 2-hour mark now.
Yeah.
That's figured these ones would be longer. I was prepared to do a 2-hour episode, so we'll see how this one goes, and then we'll keep the bonus episodes a little bit tighter. Try to keep those around the 20-minute to half-hour mark. And yeah, this is the first recorded interview. This isn't going to be the first one released, but this was a fun one. So
definitely.
Yeah, we covered a lot of topics. We didn't really have. I kind of wanted that though. I kind of wanted this like open-ended, like we didn't plan or structure anything. So this was kind of cool to just cover a broad spectrum of topics, and it's a great kind of like introduction into future interviews and conversations, because this kind of is gonna like be a broad version of what we're diving into. So there's going to be so many stuff, and we're going to be diving into way more specifics on a lot of these crazy topics. But this is a great general outlook of the future of this podcast and where it's going. So thank you for kickstarting this with me.
Definitely.
It was a lot of fun.
Definitely hit a lot of interesting things that we both had on our minds, and which we're both curious about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we don't know 100% of everything, but like, kind of just trying to tap in and learn at the same time.
Yep, tap in and see what we can learn and share what we're learning along the way. A lot of this is going to be just looking it up along the way, because we don't know everything, but we're interested and we want to learn, and that's what we're doing here and sharing what we're learning along the way. So a lot of fun. Do you have any words to say to kind of call this episode complete? Rock on.
Yeah, pretty much rock on. Fucking keep your mind open, and basically just, if you want to learn something new, just start digging and you'll find stuff. So
just stay curious. Stay curious and keep an open mind. It's a lot of fun too. It's cool. I love, there's so much to uncover in everything. I mean,
so much stuff that's hidden.
Yeah, hidden gems, hidden stories.
And with the internet, there's a lot more you can tap into than before.
Yeah, it's easy to do some digging, easy to do some research, and just keep going down like these wormholes or rabbit holes. So.
And if you figure out one thing, it doesn't mean that it's the right thing. Like, it doesn't mean that it's true. So you always have to keep digging further than what you think you would have to. Instead of just scratching the surface, you have to go deeper.
Oh yeah, 2 sides to every coin, and it's crazy. So a lot of fun. This is a good one. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap this up here, and I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see what everybody thinks about this time length. I think it's gonna be a popular one. I had a lot of fun, and this is kind of the direction that this podcast is going to be going more. I'm going to be doing bonus episodes and keep those kind of like self-help, self-care kind of topics, if you want to tune into those bonus episodes. But these interview ones are going to kind of standardize as this style. So a lot of information here, a lot said, a lot talked about, some crude humor, and hopefully you guys can all handle this. But yeah, we're just goofing around, having fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah, there's a lot more crude humor to come.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all in good fun though. So I hope you had a great time doing this.
Fantastic.
It was a fun time. So great having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So rock on, guys. Take care. This is a good time, and stay tuned for Wednesday's bonus episode. All right, see you guys.